hope all of you all are having a wonderful day. If you are already subscribers of my channel and you know me, welcome back. If you are new to my channel, welcome to my channel. My name is Anam. I make a lot of vlogs, travel videos, pre-COVID, beauty and fashion content, and today I'm actually doing something different. I'm talking about money. This is a highly requested video. This video has come about because I have been interviewed about money a bunch of times. Somehow it comes up that I bought a house at the age of 26, and it seems to be something that a lot of people want to know how I save or what my particular investment strategies have been. So if you're someone who's looking to maximize the money, the coins in their pocket, I guess this video is for you. Thank you for requesting this video. I never would have thought to be able to sit down and film a video like this if you guys hadn't asked for it repeatedly quite a few times. So let's not make this intro any longer and let's dive right into it. Okay, so first things first, I feel like it is my job to put out a disclaimer over here and tell you that I am not a finance expert. The only commerce education I received was in my junior college in 11th and 12th grade, and the fact that I grew up in a business family where my dad is a self-made businessman, and I learned a lot of real life experiences and just how to deal with building your own business and managing your money on the go. So all the credit to my money management skills go to my father, because he is always encouraged for me to not just be someone who like, okay, there's an accountant who's handling everything but to actually understand what the accountant is doing. Because God forbid tomorrow if the accountant makes a mistake, it is me who's going to have to pay the fines on that. So just to at least try to understand the basics of accounts. Also, please keep in mind that everything that I'm sharing with you today is basis my experience. I can't necessarily say the same things will work for you. I will give you tips that I think are a little bit more generic from a point of view of being able to save or being able to save in the long term. So I hope that you will understand that, appreciate that, and know that you should go to a finance expert if you're looking for really detailed strategies on how to optimize your money. Okay, now that we've got those disclaimers out of the way, I've got a bunch of things written down over here so that I don't make a mistake and don't miss anything out. Let's get into this. Okay, first things first, I'm diving straight in with a slightly technical point: understanding your tax bracket. Now, for those of you who just started working, or those of you who've had jobs for a while but don't completely understand how much money you're actually getting per month in your hand, please understand that most jobs out there have a certain TDS deduction from your usual salary every month. You need to understand that over and above your TDS that your employer cuts from your salary, you still owe a certain amount of tax percentage to the government from your earnings, depending on which slab you fall in. I'm gonna go ahead and put a current slab thingy here so you know what slab you fall into. It is different from 2.5 lakhs to 5 lakhs, and it keeps changing basis different earnings. Of course, all of these are annual earnings. Please make sure you know what category you fall under, you know what your percentage of tax is. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and give you a really simple example at the top of my head. If you're making 1 lakh rupees per month, your employer is probably cutting around 10%, which is usually the market average for TDS. So you're getting 90,000 rupees every month. The entire 90,000 rupees is not yours. You're making 12 lakhs a month at the rate of 1 lakh per month. So you fall into a certain tax bracket and you need to pay more than just the TDS that's being deducted by your employer. Now, this is not a saving thing. This is just an understanding money thing, because a lot of people don't understand the breaking parts, I guess I want to call it, between what TDS is, what GST is. A lot of people get really confused in this, so I just kind of wanted to break that down for you, that पहले तो समझो कि आप कितना पैसा बना रहे हो, आपको कितना टैक्स देना है, so that after tax how much money you have, you sort your savings aside according to that, because it's only once you know how much money you have that you can decide how much of it is going to go into usage, how much of it is going to go into savings or long-term savings. Okay, so I feel like I went a little technical with the first one straight off there, so I'm going to keep the second one a little bit lighter to understand. The simplest piece of advice I can give you is to try and set up a second bank account. The reason I think setting up a separate bank account, a second bank account or a third is a really great way to save your money, to optimize your money, is if you are a spendthrift and you have the shopping bug, or you're someone who doesn't tend to stick to their budgets. This is a really great way to go ahead and just put some money aside that you know you don't have access to. Simply put, if you're getting around 10,000 rupees a month and you move about 2,500 or 3,000 rupees on a recurring basis to a different bank account where you don't have that ATM card on you all the time, that you will not swipe online or swipe in a store or swipe in general because you want that to be savings, it's the simplest thing you can do to just constantly keep that money aside. If you're opposed to the idea of having a separate bank account, I could tell you to just make sure you set up a recurring fixed deposit that takes out that amount of money or that percentage of money out of your salary every month and transfers it into a deposit. The reason I recommend for you to do something like this, to be honest, is because I feel like if you're someone who tends to not stick to their budgets, keeping a certain sum of money aside that can be accessed for emergencies but not like on the go on the everyday basis, I feel like that's just a good technique to have the money but not have direct access and immediate access to the money. Okay, now I'm gonna dive into like proper savings things. Okay, so one of the really intimidating financial terms that I heard a few years ago in the sense maybe like 7-8 years ago, was mutual funds, SIP, ELSS. When I heard it, I was like, I don't know what this is. And in case you really need to hear it, I still don't completely understand them. I have friends who've invested in various different types of SIPs. I'm someone who's sort of leaned towards ELSSs in the past. I highly recommend that you get a finance expert to go through your salaries, to go through your numbers and recommend something for you. Different types of investments on these things have different risk factors, so you want to take that into consideration. And since like I said, I'm not a finance expert, I'm not in a position to tell you, oh, you should do SIPs or you should do, ELSS, mutual funds, whatever. I do think you need to go into the zone of it, because just bank percentage of interest is not enough to really let that really grow. The higher interest rates come from your mutual funds, so definitely steer yourself in that direction. There are various platforms, there are various banks also that have websites that help you understand what they are, and I feel like for me that's still a very that's a very growing area. I'm constantly trying to know more about it, but I do have a financial advisor who takes the lead on it, so I don't want to make it sound like I'm taking all the decisions on it, because I'm not. I have a portfolio manager at a bank, and they help me figure out which companies we should be investing in. So, but my only point with this is keep your mind open to it. Even if you're someone who's just started out, even if you're at a starter salary, just try to understand the concept of it and keep a certain amount of money aside for long-term investments like these that will give you a really high interest rate potential. Okay, so this next point is something that's going to be really easy for everyone to do, and I know that you've heard me sort of talk about this every now and then. It's what I called the fund management program. It sounds really self-explanatory, but I'm gonna go out and say it anyway. Funds to me are basically things that I keep aside for specific goals that I have in mind. Like for example, when I knew I wanted to buy my first luxury bag, I started chipping aside some amount of money on a monthly basis, solely with the intention कि मुझे एक Gucci bag खरीदनी है. Like this is going towards my Gucci fund. Right now I'm keeping money aside every month for something else that I have in mind. I turn 30 next year, and I don't exactly have a 30th birthday present goal. I actually have a 31st birthday present goal, because I want to buy it in my 30s, and just before I turn 31, it's going to take a little bit of time. But I keep my money aside for that every month. You guys have heard me talk about how I give myself a budget for shopping on a monthly basis. My job includes buying a lot of clothes or buying a lot of makeup to review for you guys. So I actually genuinely do keep a budget aside every month. I don't just say it to you guys. I know I don't allow myself to go beyond a certain number on the monthly basis, and I don't really shop on a monthly basis, so sometimes I'll go ahead and just spend a whole chunk like on the third month together. But my point is that I'll fund it out. Like I'll make sure that those 3 months ka saath mein nikla, so I didn't shop in the first and the second month. I hope I'm explaining it correctly. I've never really I've never really explained money to someone or how I manage my money to someone before, so this is really new to me. Please be nice. So what I'm trying to say is, like, if you have your boyfriend, girlfriends, siblings, mothers, fathers, someone special's birthday coming up, and you want to buy them something really expensive, start planning for it in advance. My point is, keep funds to plan for these things well in advance. I know that so many of these things that I'm saying are really easy to follow and you're like, ये तो मैंने पहले भी सोच के रखा हुआ था, but implementing it is really what makes all the difference. So again, this is like another point that I wanted to give you guys. If you can, I know that a lot of you are going to be really repulsed by this, but I love Microsoft Excel. If you are not, if you're not allergic to the idea of Microsoft Excel, just please open it up, start writing your finances down. If you detest the idea of Microsoft Excel like my husband does, take a notebook and make sure the only thing you write in this notebook is like your money related stuff, your expenses, your savings, your funds, things that you want to invest in, money that you are investing currently or want to invest in the future. Just make it like the money book. You know what I mean? I just think it's really important to see these things. You may know numbers in your head. You'll always know approximate numbers in your head. You know what I mean? Like if you ask me off the bat, अच्छा इसमें क्या है और उसमें कितना savings किया, ऐसे I won't know. I need to look at it somewhere to actually know exact amount कितना है. So just try and write things down. That's just a really easy way around it. Okay, this next tip is especially for the women who are watching. I don't mean to be biased, like I don't mean to be biased towards the women. I'm sorry for the men if you feel like that, but it's just something that I've noticed. I'm 29 years old. I started working at 15. I have about 14 years of work experience under my belt, and I feel like women really need to listen to this. Know your worth. One of the biggest money problems I've seen from my female friends is that a lot of them don't really, like, they know their worth but they're not willing to fight for their worth. Whether it's salaries, whether it's emotionally and mentally. What I mean by know your worth is just understand what you bring to the table, understand how you should charge for it or what your salary should be. And a very important facet of knowing your worth is discussing your worth. Now I know that money is a really sensitive topic and not a lot of people like to talk about it openly. I myself don't like to discuss actual numbers just because it's private. Nobody likes to talk about money. I mean, not many people like to talk about money publicly. But I do think it's really important for you to be able to talk about money, at least with your closest friends or your really close family. Especially when I say family, I mean people around your age, because they could be at a similar designation and have similar salary figures around you. The reason I'm stressing on this for the women is because men, I think, talk about money a little bit more openly. The thing with women is we don't tend to discuss things like investments as much. I'm not being sexist here, I'm as feminist as can be, but I find the flow of investment in real estate and mutual funds conversation flowing a lot more with the boys, like with the men, with the guy friends in my life, than with so many of the women. And that's a stereotype I want to break. I know you know it, so if you know it, you just need to talk about it more often. It's just as simple as that. Create a little safe bubble of people around you that you can talk numbers with, because you could be getting underpaid and you won't know unless you talk about it. There could be someone who would give you ideas on how to invest somewhere. They could have a really great finance broker. They could have a really great stock broker. They could have a really great, someone could have really great advice for you, you know, and you won't know that till you start that conversation or that conversation comes about. So I genuinely want to put it out there to please talk about it with the people that you feel safe around having such discussion with, because I think the more you talk about it, the more educated you will become on the subject. Okay, the last point I have is something that I'm also extremely new to. I don't have complete information on this. It's something that I'm at the moment doing a lot of research on. But since I'm doing this video, I feel like I should include it and share it with you guys. It is pension plans. It's thinking about long term and putting aside a small or a decent or whatever chunk of money that you think you can expend extend out from your budget to put aside for like a later point of time in your life. This of course depends on where you are, how old you are, how much money you want to put aside, how much of the traditional safety you're looking for. I mean, there are multiple factors, and like I said, I'm very new to the subject, so I'm not 100% sure on what direction to send you off in, but it's just something I think we should all consider, because long-term safety is something we all definitely want to look at to be able to safeguard us against any, God forbid, economic downfalls. Yeah, okay, so this is me sitting here super chill telling you what my experiences have taught me about money so far. I really hope that you're able to save any money, optimize your money, make the most of your money, double up your money in the time to come. Please go ahead and give me your honest feedback, your thoughts down below in the comments. This is not me trying to sound like a financial preacher. Like I said, I'm not even educationally qualified to do so. I'm just your friend sitting here who's talking to you about a subject that you asked me to open up about. I did buy my home at 26. I would also like to say that a lot of the money I managed to save up for my down payment was because I didn't have to pay rent. I was living with my parents till the age of 25. So I feel like a lot of credit goes to that. I'll go ahead and link a couple of my interviews on those lines down below in the info box if you guys want to know more, because there were questions shot at me about that. So make sure you guys come and talk to me down below in the comments, because I'm always reading, liking, replying, hearting, and this video's comment shout out goes to Tanu Ahuja. Thank you so much, you guys, for always coming and talking to me in the comments, because it really does make my day. I try my best to always come back and reply to you guys as much as I can, and I think I usually manage to reply to most of you, if not all, but it's just something that I hold really close to my heart, because I want to keep the conversation going. This shouldn't be a one-sided conversation, it needs to be both ways. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and turn those bell notifications on. Keep coming back for lots more videos, because I upload them very frequently here on my channel. And if you have any ideas, requests, suggestions for videos you want to see across absolutely any genre, because I basically create a lot of content across a lot of experiences, so I'm open to a lot of suggestions and requests from you guys. Talk to me down below in the comments. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Mwah. Bye guys.